But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful episode of Illegal Ham in the Face. I am that fat guy, Jared Fatty Bates. I got my cohorts here in the background, but I have got to do this before I completely forget. Our show is brought to you by the Lake Erie APA. Harold and the APA over here on the western side of Cuyahoga County. Has APA every day of the week. If you guys want to come out and play pool, come play pool. I play on Sunday. I play a double Jeopardy league, 8 and 9 ball. So please come check out Harold and the APA. It's a great time. A lot of good people. A lot of friends I've met through it. My cousin Vinny is one of them. So
absolutely.
So let me bring in the cohorts here. Let's go, my big Bri.
Hey man,
What's going on, big fella?
What's up?
Oh, not much. And my cousin Vinny's here.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
All right. So, my cousin Vinny, why do you give them the rundown this week?
Oh, yes. Definitely the rundown.
All right.
There it is.
You're behind.
Why am I behind?
I don't know why you're behind, but you're behind.
I think I caught up.
You better catch up. Ooh. All right. So, it's back up again. Holy cow.
So, okay. I don't know where it went to.
I don't know where you went to.
All right. We'll start off after the rundown here with my cousin Vinny's word of the day, followed by trivia time. Bri, it's your turn, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
And we'll go over some Browns. Great win against the Bears there. And we'll talk about, some OBJ too. Looking ahead to the Vikings and get into some Fat Boy Tuesday today. Game day, gotta go destinations.
Go 2 places.
Yeah.
And then
you can't come to where I gotta go.
I know.
A lot of time. Well, 2 out of 3, maybe.
Maybe.
If I think about it. Don't show up at the one place, though. I wouldn't know what to do. All right.
Was that Maz?
Yeah.
Oh.
If I show up at Maz, she's going to love me.
Well, if she knows you, that's one thing.
What do you mean? It's your Maz. She knows me.
Well, right. I know, but I mean, I'm just talking about like the listeners or something.
If
they happen to show up. Hey, I know my cousin Vinny.
Hey, at that point in time, if you show up, high five him, give him a shot, and he'll be fine.
There you go. I'm ready.
And we are going to do our top 3 comedians tonight for our top 3.
True.
So the reason why I brought that up is we'll get into shout outs and I'll go first. Shout out my sister and my brother-in-law, Jocelyn and Chris, with their 2 little heathens came up this weekend and went to the Bears game along with my big Bri, and a special shout out to you, brother. Your birthday was Sunday, so happy birthday, brother.
Thank you.
You brought in a win, buddy. You brought home a win.
Thanks, Vinny. Yeah, did what I was supposed to do.
There was one other one that I can't even think of right now, so I'm just going to pass it off. Yeah, I had a great time with my sister and my brother-in-law. We played some putt-putt. We had a whole bunch of food, and we did an adult card night that got a little bit crazy. That's why the top 3 comedians came into play, because we were watching Bill Burr. So it got pretty good.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to Big Bri. Big Bri, shout outs.
Yep. Like you said, I went to the game on Sunday, and let me shout out first and foremost the players at the game. They had an induction ceremony into the Cleveland Browns Legend Club, and because of COVID, they didn't do it last year. They induct 2 people a year. So last year's guys, Josh Cribbs, DeQuell Jackson. Let me shout them out. And this year, I believe was Webster Slaughter and Bill Nelson. And if you're like me and you don't know who Bill Nelson is, I guess he was a quarterback for the Browns from 68 to 72. So well deserved. It was pretty cool. You saw Myles Garrett get one of those sacks, and then he started doing the cabbage patch. I don't know if you saw that. That's because about 10 minutes before that, Webster Slaughter was getting everyone riled up, and he did the cabbage patch himself. So that was a little homage to Webster. So let me shout them out. Also at the game, I saw they honored. My second shout out would be the Medina Bees football team. They are 6-0, and they play this Friday on ESPN2 against Menor. So should be a good game. Coach Laird and quarterback that's heading to Penn State. They were sitting a couple rows ahead of us, so I congratulated them. But yeah, they're having a heck of a season, and them and St. Ed's look like they're in a crash course for the title at States. So shout out, prop up my Medina Bees. And the final shout out I got, I went to a new restaurant this past week on the Medina Square called 17 Public Square. Really good food, kind of like not upscale, but a little bit nicer of a bar. They just had some good sandwiches, good burgers, obviously plenty of booze. So if you're looking for a place to go, don't want to get too fancy with it, but just a nice night out, check out 17 Public Square.
Well, before I hand it over to Vinny, I got to ask, did you tailgate before the game?
We did tailgate.
Where'd you go?
Wasn't quite what I expected. Let's see, we were off of Lakeside, and I think East 13th, maybe.
Okay.
Lakeside and East 13th, out towards they have a lot off of Lakeside. Like the FBI building is over there. So we were just supposed to kind of go there, hang out, and then go to the Lizard and Wicked Lizard in the Galleria, and tried to get in there. It was only like a 10-15 minute long wait, but then you might have to wait for a table too. So said screw it, just kind of stood around drinking, talking, having a good time, and yeah, it wasn't anything too crazy, but we had fun.
You didn't break a cornhole board, correct?
I did not. Nope. I was very stationary, drinking my beer. I didn't move around a whole lot other than to go to the porta potty. So yeah, everyone was safe.
That a boy. Let's get it over to my cousin Vinny shout outs, and then we have a special announcement right after that.
Probably one. Eve and I, we went on out to dinner over at Hail Mary's over there. I think that's in North Ridgeville. I'm not too sure. Is that North Ridgeville?
No, that's Westlake. That
is Westlake?
Yeah,
okay.
Westlake right off of Center Ridge, right?
Yeah. Right off of Center Ridge. I knew that much, but I don't know. I just kind of drive. Yeah, no, great food and everything.
What'd you get to eat?
I had I know what she had better than I know what I had.
Did you Did you have to eat half of hers? Is that what it was?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. She ate it. She loved it, and I loved it too. She had the BLT.
Okay.
And fries, and I had fries and I have no idea what in the world did I eat.
See, that's not good when you go to a coma like that.
I had the Italian sub.
Okay.
That's what I had.
All right.
Of course you did.
So
it's a staple. That's what I go.
It's good. I don't hate on you for that.
That's like
I love me an Italian sub.
Well, that's like Craig's big thing was always get the bacon cheeseburger to tell you how good the place is, because if the bacon cheeseburger sucks, the most easiest thing to cook, don't get anything else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like cheese pizza. Get yourself a cheese pizza. If that's terrible, you probably need to find a new place to eat.
Yeah, true.
All right. So our special announcement, we have not done a September show yet. We are not going to do a September show. All right. Our October show is coming up on October 17th. It will be at West 3rd and Summit Tailgate for the Mac for Mutts. I will be there as a guest judge. Brian might be showing up with me. Vinny will not be there due to a birthday weekend for the wifey.
Aha. I haven't told you.
Oh, you're coming?
I have no idea.
Don't you get me excited right now.
The coin is up in the air. I haven't called heads or tails yet.
All right. So we got 50-50, right?
50-50.
All right. Well, but the other thing that we are doing is there will be a giveaway. We are doing a dog ham table. You like the pun?
Nice.
Sure.
We are going to do that, and we are going to give away a few things next week for the tailgate. It is a mac and cheese cook-off with a normal mac and cheese and a super mac. And it is going to be, the judging will be at noon. Mac and cheese has got to be on the tables by 11:30, blah, blah, blah. And it's from 8 until 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, shut down, and you're going to the Cardinals game. So catch us at West 3rd and Summit. Tickets are limited. You can get a hold of Top Dog Tailgate on Twitter at West 3rd and Summit, and I think on Facebook also. If you can't get a hold of them, get a hold of me, and we'll get a whole bunch of things set up because it is going to be for a good cause for the City Dogs of Cleveland. So, got that announcement out. Think that's it. All right. Well, Bri, are you ready for my cousin Vinny's word of the day?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Did you have the sounder for it?
No, I'm not even playing the sounder anymore.
Okay. Anymore?
No,
Where did it go? Why is there such a delay?
because I keep clicking it.
Oh, stop clicking it.
Well, it's fun for me to watch you go, what the heck's going on?
I'm going, there's such a delay. What is going on?
All right.
All right.
What is my cousin Vinny's word of the day?
Here it is. Oh, dear goodness.
Did you say obtuse?
Obtuse.
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 A fantastic word.
Okay. Obtuse.
We're using it as an adjective.
Well, my cousin Vinny's word of the day is abuse. So,
Not obtuse. Abuse. It's obtuse.
Obtuse.
I heard abuse.
No, not abuse. Obtuse.
I love it. All right, Brian, it is time
I
for
don't.
trivia. Vinny, get us into trivia.
All right. This
And our trivia is always brought to you by Papa V and Curb Appeal. CurbAppeal419.com. All right, Brian, give me the trivia.
All right. Well, you're in luck. I got two of them for you.
Ooh.
Because one is kind of a trick question, and we'll get to that later. But the first one is, and they're both kind of relevant after this last Sunday's game. First one, Myles Garrett is now third all-time for the Browns in all-time sacks.
Uh-huh.
I need you to give me who's number one on the Browns franchise sack leading list.
Okay.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two is our boy, Chase McLaughlin, hitting bombs this past weekend.
Taking bombs.
I need who or how long. I'll give you the point either way. Who or how long is the longest field goal in Browns history?
Got it. Hold on. In Browns history or at Browns Stadium?
In Browns history. Browns franchise history.
History. Okay.
Because McLaughlin just hit the longest one in the stadium's history.
Yes. Okay. I like it, Brian. Thank you, bud.
Yep.
All right, Vinny. You want to get your thoughts in on the Browns? One against the Bears. Let's go over the scores. It was
Alrighty.
26-6.
Yes, it was.
And Bry, I put a spiking down on that score.
You
So
both.
you want to know something funny? The last 2 weeks, you've been dead on for the opponent's score.
I know, right? You've been
The
dead on.
The last 2 weeks, I've been dead on for the Browns score.
We should combine. Hey, let's go to
I know.
Vegas. Or no, we don't
Right.
even need to go to Vegas. Let's go to Pennsylvania, place some bets down, and we'll be good, right?
I'll be very interested to hear how many points you got the Vikings scoring this week.
Oh, I can't wait. All
And I
right.
hit it with a 26. How often
I know.
do
That's
teams
out.
score 26?
Well, how often do they score 6?
Exactly. This week was more impressive than last week. Yeah,
I know, right?
I agree. Mhm.
All right, so Vinny, give us the scores.
All right. Fatty got he's up to 2-1 now. And Big Bri, you're at 3-0, and I'm at 2-1.
But I got an asterisk next to my name,
You
correct?
do. This week,
Uh-oh.
you get an asterisk next to your name.
Yeah, I do, buddy.
For being the closest.
30-6 is what I picked.
Right.
Oh,
30 to
yeah,
6.
right.
And we know that the score was 26-6, so 4-point difference. For
I gave Justin Fields too much credit.
Yep. Yeah.
Justin, I believe I had 27-6. Granted, I had 3 different predictions depending on the quarterback. I love it.
Very good. Very good.
All right, so Vinny, what did you watch the game?
I did not. I did. I caught the scores and stuff like that after the game, though.
Did you watch the highlights?
How he did? No, I didn't even watch the highlights.
That's it, Brian. We're going to have to hold him down, tape his eyes open one
That's
time,
all right.
and we're going to watch all the games together.
He's just here for eye candy.
He is true. By the way,
I'm like
speaking
black robe licorice. Nobody likes me.
Speaking of eye candy, boys, start growing out your facial hair
Oh yeah,
in a certain area.
Okay.
my eyebrows.
Yeah, well, your eyebrows are bushy, anyways. It's all right.
I'm Italian.
Well,
What do you want?
it's for our Halloween special.
Okay.
I don't know if the wife's going to like that.
Well, she's going to have to deal for at least a week.
Yeah, she likes mustache.
That
I can
boy.
do that.
It's got to be thick and bushy too. Don't mess around. I want
Just
that.
the mustache.
Just the mustache.
Are we going as the super fans?
Oh dear God.
Don't surprise. Yeah, we might as well say.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we're going
Is
to
that
go.
right?
Yeah.
I nailed it.
So for our special Halloween special, we will be the Browns super fans. So be prepared. It's going to be a show. And
So
we have.
I remember looking because one year, I think 10, 15 years ago, me and a group of friends were going to go as the super fans for the Bears, and I looked online to try to buy one of those like sweaters that they have, those vintage sweaters, like $200-$300.
Hey, bud, just wear your Browns t-shirt. Hey, why don't you find your Eric Metcalf jersey that you had when you were sick? Squeeze yourself into that thing, and that would be perfect.
To be continued. There might be some developments on that front. I don't want to give too much away, but I did have a birthday, and some people were listening to that episode. So
Don't really.
fingers crossed. Yeah.
All right, all right.
Wow.
Well, Vinny, you ready for the mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you're ready for the mustache. Our wives are going to hate us anyway, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Hey,
Prediction: one of the three of us will get a divorce during that time.
oh,
I'm betting it'll be me.
it's just
I
hey,
don't know.
it's just for a Tuesday, and then you can grow it right back.
Just for Tuesday, I got to grow it out already at this length for the month.
Yeah, but
Until
see,
the
you
Halloween
guys are good.
episode.
You guys got a nice, glorious mustache going on right now. You guys are
That's
good.
true.
I got
true.
this peach fuzz on my face that I got to grow out for at least a month and a half before it looks decent enough.
Okay.
Mine grows kind of like Craig Stadler, the walrus, where it just goes down,
Yeah,
kind of like Andy Reid, and then
Yeah.
it'll just touch my bottom lip, and it'll just look like I'm mumbling all the time.
oh, that's perfect. Oh my lord, like cousin it just trying to talk out of that thing, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of flavor savers.
Well, Vinny's already freaking out. All right, Vinny.
I gotta find a way through this.
You'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, bud. All right, Vinny, we will catch you on the backside, brother.
All right. Have a good one.
See ya. All right, Big Brian. Let's get into the Browns. 26.
How about it?
And first half was kind of but we did get a very special surprise. Our boy Odell Beckham Jr. is back. He had 5 catches for 77 yards, and you know something? I think I even heard that he dislocated his shoulder on the very first play, popped it back in, and said, "All right, we're good. Now it's football time."
Yeah.
But he looked good, bud. He looked really good. He looked fluid. Man, he made that one catch on the sideline that was just the little toe tap, and it was like, come on, Baker couldn't have put him on better. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about Odell being back and how he looked?
He looked pretty similar to how he's looked in the past. Maybe the last couple weeks have done him good, getting him back. But yeah, he looked full go to me. That one you mentioned, the one on the sidelines. What about the one on the sidelines that was just barely incomplete, that he didn't get his feet in, and Baker just kind of threw it up to him and said, "Hey, go make a play." He did. It was just the ball was too far to the outside, so he couldn't get both feet in. But that's what Baker needs to do. As Baker gets more comfortable in the offense, as he gets more comfortable with his skills, I mean, that's what Aaron Rodgers does. You have a stud receiver, you throw it. You don't give him a perfect throw all the time. You throw it up and you say, "Hey, go make a play." And so that's what Odell can do, that I don't know if we have anybody else on our team that can do that. So it was fun to watch him for one game.
Well, from what I saw, Peoples Jones could do it because he made one hell of a catch too on the sideline.
He did, but he's still got some ways to go. But yeah, the potential's there with him.
So Odell had 9 targets, 5 catches.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of those targets, there was some pass interference there that wasn't called. It's just he was held.
Yeah.
Going through, I took a whole bunch of notes, Brian. I noticed that Baker was high on his passes a lot, but he was getting pressured right up the gate. I mean, Jed tried to do everything that he could to go in and play, but that ankle with Khalil Mack on that side, there's not much you can do, especially on a bum foot and bum ankle.
Right.
The one thing I did want to bring up though is there in the first quarter, Brian, it should have been more. It should have been 42-6. It should have. If you think about it, they had the 4th and 2 that he got sacked on. He got sacked on the other 4th down too. So both 4th downs they got sacked on. But you also got to factor in the overthrow of Felton. Felton was wide open, and he just overthrew him just a little bit. If he would have caught that touchdown, but those 4th down plays right there at the beginning of the game, I get the 4th and 2. The 4th and 5 was kind of a little sketchy to me because it was like, all right, you already tried 4th and 2. Why don't we just get some points on the board and let's just manufacture some points as we're going, because our defense, just played outstanding. So at that point in time, I was questioning the aggressiveness on 4th and 2. Did you like the both 4th down calls there at the beginning of the game?
I did because it's not like we were losing. And I think for one of them, if not both of them, we were on their side of the field. And it's like, well, and at this point, don't forget, we didn't know the weapon that we have in Chase McLaughlin, which I'm sure we'll get to. But you go for it. You hope you can get it. They had success against Kansas City, and this past week it just didn't work out. So that's the risk that you have when you go for it on 4th down. You make some, you miss some, but I think that's just that's Stefanski's demeanor. That's his personality. He's going to put his faith and his confidence into his players and say, even though we're not having the most success on offense, running the ball, Chubb had a rough day, or a rough day for him. A lot of other guys, it's just an average day. But
he had what, 20 carries for like 86 yards or something like that.
22 for 84. I think he averaged just under 4 carries a yard, or 4 yards a carry. So by his standards, it's subpar. But it's about, I don't know, a little less than league average, maybe.
Well, Kevon, what's going on, Kevon? You can check
Hey,
him
Kev.
out on the Voice of the Land. Him and Jay, I was giving them crap on Sunday after the game because they wanted to flip tables, they wanted to be like Bill's Mafia and just start breaking stuff. I mean, they were
Yeah,
so, but we were all
I'm with
pumped
them.
after that. But you were talking about the Chubb bad day, but you also got to factor in that Chubb, yes, 22 carries, like 86 yards or whatever it was, but this guy came out and just lit it up. Kareem Hunt came out, had 165 total yards. He ended up with, let me flip over my notes here, 10 carries for 81 yards and 6 receptions for 74. How
Mhm.
awesome is that? Like, he just came out and was angry right out of the gate. You know what it was? They asked if it was Felton taking this. Forget that. I know exactly what it was. He had the one run where he got stopped after about 2 yards, and Raekwon Smith, is that right? Raekwon?
Yeah, Raekwon.
Raekwon? Just sitting there going like this, chirping in his ear. And after that, Kareem Hunt jumping in the air, running over people, finding people to hit, and doing anything he could to inflict punishment on the Bears, and he did it. I mean, that was one hell of a game for Kareem Hunt. And he averaged, what he averaged? 8 yards a carry. The
Mhm.
screen passes that he had. I mean, he was running over Batonio to get the hell out of his road so he could. Even the one I laughed the most was Wyatt Teller got in front of him and just fell down. And he just like, what are you doing? Jumped over him, just kept going. I mean, what do you think about Kareem Hunt's day, bud?
It's pretty awesome. I think Kareem relished in the opportunity because it's not very often that Nick Chubb is getting bottled up a little bit, and so I mean, usually Kareem's just, I mean, no disrespect to Kareem, but some people might call him like a change of pace back. But he saw Nick Chubb. Hey, he's not having the success. Baker's kind of doing his thing, but we're not we're missing that pop on offense. And Kareem stepped up to the plate because, without Kareem, who knows what our offense would have been. So he answered the call. We called upon him because other guys are kind of stuck in the mud a little bit. And he said, this is my time. This team needs me now. And he looked like the Kareem Hunt from Kansas City. And I'm not certain. I've always said for a while now that the Browns have 2 top 10 running backs. I don't know. It could be 2 top 5 running backs. I don't know. I mean, if Kareem Hunt was, the bell cow for another team, he could be a top 5 running back. So, I mean, the Browns just have an embarrassment of riches at that position. And when one guy's struggling just a little bit, the other guy turns it up to 10 and let's go. And it's so much fun to watch because it's very, very, very rare that you'll be able to contain both of those guys.
All right. Yeah. I just watching him run. I love watching both those guys run. Even like Chubb. There's times that Chubb got hit in the backfield. He's still not losing yards. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's still dragging
Yeah.
people for like at least a yard or two. Like it just reminds me, like you just 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's the only thing I think of when I see those two, because no matter if you hit them in the backfield or not, they're still falling forward for at least a few yards. The other stats I got here, I got Baker was 19 of 31 for 246 and a touchdown. And the one I wanted to bring up is Demetric Felton had 7 returns for 103 yards. He
Mm-hmm.
really is a little spark plug. I'm telling you what, like he just every time I see him play, it just reminds me of Eric Metcalf over and over and over again. It just like I'm just waiting for him to break one.
Pump the brakes on that a little bit.
Okay, but there you watch it. He almost broke one of those kicks and was gone. Like
Yeah.
it just. But Baker had a good game. It wasn't his best. The incompletions were a little bit up, but you also got to factor in he was being pressured a lot right out of the gate with everybody. Then they started throwing some screen passes to soften up that blitz. But something, Baker even looked really good. He had a couple throws that were little shaky, but that one to Hooper for the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't draw that up more perfect than what it was. I mean, it's just right in the hands where he can only catch it, touchdown. I mean, what do you think of those two performances?
I'm convinced that the Brown and it. I mean, when we run it, it seems so easy. I'm almost upset we don't do it more. But I'm convinced that the Browns have got to be the best screen team in the league. They've got to be best at the screen passes that I can ever. Because if we only gain 5 or 10 yards, it seems like it's a failure because we're so used to, and especially this week with let's be honest, the Bears were focused in on stopping Nick Chubb and stopping the run as best
Yeah.
they could, especially when Chubb was on the field, but also Hunt. So they were like selling out. So, when you're getting that aggressive defensive front there, screen pass is going to work every time. And we saw it against Kansas City on that final drive. I think that was the only, big play that we had on that final drive before Baker threw the pick, but was that screen pass to Hunt that got like 20 yards. So it seems like, I know Stefanski probably doesn't want to overuse it because it's the element of surprise, but whenever they do it, he's pushing all the right buttons because whenever he calls that screen, we always seem to have great success with it. And like you said, Felton, I mean, I still have to remind myself this dude was a 6th-round pick.
I know.
And he's doing what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in punt return average. So
it's unreal.
I think we found our guy. As long as he can, all we usually ask from our punt returners since Josh Cribbs, anyways, is, hey, just don't screw it up. Make the fair catch or catch it and go down after a couple yards. Just don't fumble it.
Yeah,
and he's given us a little more than that. So it's fun watching them. I mean, everything pretty much went right in that second half. So there's not a whole lot to complain about. And I mean, I know we'll get to the defense, but that defensive effort was something special.
So by the way, love it. I have to bring it up because my wife brought this up to me as we were watching the game. She goes, "Why the hell do they have a net for the kicks?" She goes, "Fans should get the ball." She goes, "Why are they bringing the I'm like, honey, that's just what they do." I'm like, if they miss it wide right, you get a free ball. I mean, it happens. She goes, "Well, why the hell do they have it? He's kicking a field goal. It's not like they're throwing an 80-yard, pass at him." Like, I'm like, honey. So she wants the NFL to look into taking the nets down.
Well, let me answer that for her now. It's the world we live in. All it takes is somebody get hit in the face with a football and break their nose, and they sue the NFL for millions of dollars.
Well, was it the one guy that actually jumped off and down into the tunnel? That's probably why, right?
Yeah, that could be also, but you bringing that up kind of sparked my mind. Watching McLaughlin warm up, he was hitting that back padding, that back wall in pre-games, kicking from 50, 52 yards. So I kind of had a feeling like, man, if they get within 55 yards, they might go to this guy. And
well, he made 4 of them. He got almost 20 points in fantasy football. But yeah, 57, a 50, and then a couple 30-yarders.
40. I think one might have been 40 and one might have been in the 20s.
So, but hey, that 57-yarder, when he kicked that thing was like a missile. And I thought for sure it wasn't going to make it. But man, that thing just barely cleared the bar.
So it was 4th down, and I kind of had a feeling that the Browns weren't going to go for it. So I'm like, all right, now's my chance to go to the bathroom and, take care of some business there. And, I stopped halfway through because I heard on comes Chase McLaughlin for a 57-yard attempt. And I go, holy cow, no way. So I had to come back into I was in the concourse. I had to come back into the stadium and watch. And I mean, it looked like a low liner, but
that thing got about 10 yards off the ground, and it was a bullet.
Hopefully, it cleared it by a good amount. But I feel comfortable trying one up to 60 yards. And when was the last time we could say that about a Browns kicker? I don't even think we could say that for Phil Dawson.
Yeah, you could. You could say that for Phil Dawson.
Phil had his limits. I think Phil's limits were maybe 52, 54 yards.
Yeah.
But if this McLaughlin can get some confidence going, man, I mean, we saw what a weapon Justin Tucker has been, and he pretty much won the game for him.
66 yards.
Right.
66 freaking
Right.
yards.
So damn lucky. And of course, it hits the crossbar and bounces, hits the crossbar perfectly and bounces in rather than hitting the crossbar and bouncing back. But
right, we were the benefit of that too at one point in time. Do not forget the bounce that Phil
that
Dawson.
was the stanchion, which is through the uprights already. Once it hits the stanchion, it's already good, and we almost got screwed by it. Thankfully, the refs brought it back and reviewed it.
So, speaking of a 66-yarder, Betty, what are you doing? Princess. Princess is up here causing a muck. So, the 66-yarder was more than the total yards that the Chicago Bears averaged on defense. So, let's just bring this up right here.
Good transition right there.
Right? Myles Garrett had 4.5 sacks as a defensive total 9 sacks, and they could not do it. I have pictures of my head of Peters, the left tackle, falling down on his chubby little ass, throwing an arm up, thinking that he's going to stop Myles Garrett and rolling with him. Stop, drop, and roll does not work with Myles Garrett, brother. Myles Garrett called out the defense, called out himself, and he produced, Bri. And he was everywhere. So you were in the stadium. At the very end of the game, they were chanting, Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
How awesome was that to hear? Because you can hear it over the radio and the TV, and it was like, I'm getting goosebumps. Look, goosebumps right now.
Oh, so did I.
Because our fans are that passionate about this team that they will do that for a person like that, for a great game that he had.
Well, and he said, he's been playing football for a while, and stuff similar to that has happened to him, obviously, because he's such a great football player. But something was special about that, where he said he'll never forget it, and he loves the Cleveland fans. And it reminded me of a curtain call for with a baseball player. I mean, we were just waiting for him, and I was looking over to the sidelines. I couldn't really see, where he was sitting to see if he acknowledged it, but you had to hear it. It started behind the Browns bench, and then it worked its way around to the entire stadium. So that had to be a pretty special moment for him. And
I was listening to the Jimmy. I was listening to Jimmy and Doug, and just you could hear it just echo through the microphone. And it was like, are you kidding me? Like, it is that loud. Man, what a great game the defense had. And you know something? We were worried. We're kind of skeptical. Justin Fields can run.
Right.
But that defense, I mean, they went, I was giving them crap last week for playing so soft and letting the 8-yard passes and all that stuff. They went straight tight, man to man, ate up all the receivers and tight ends, and made Justin Fields try to beat him. And guess what? Justin Fields, I love you, buddy, for what you did for Ohio State, but you found out real quick how fast the NFL is, because a couple of those sacks that Myles Garrett had, you were trying to run away from me, he still tripped you up.
Right. That was the play that stuck out to me was they rolled him away from Myles, and Myles still caught him. And I mean, he just barely got him, but he caught up to him. He chased him down, and to chase down a guy who ran a 4.4 in the 40 at the combine. I mean, Myles Garrett, he's something special. He's something we may never see again. So it was, and I'm with you. I was kind of halfway expecting him to do that, because he was the number one pick, and he's been great for us for the last couple years. You've never heard people criticize Myles, but there were some rumblings. There were some small corners of the sports talk radio that they would come out and they would call in and they'd say, Myles has half a sack through 2 games, and what's the deal with Myles? How come he's not seizing the opportunity? And there were people criticizing him for the first time that I can ever remember. And so I knew that he was going to come out with a vengeance, and I didn't expect 4.5 sacks. I think I said last week, I'd be happy with 4 or 5 as a team. He did that himself, and he called out his defensive players, his defensive partners, and you just had a feeling that defense was going to show up because they've been criticized. It's a funny way that football does it, to where, if you have talent and people are calling you out, it gives you a little extra motivation throughout the week, and you want to prove them wrong. And Delpit was the breakout star in the Texans game, and I think JOK was kind of the breakout this past week. He did some unbelievable things, and starting out with Justin Fields is a great warm up to what we have in a couple weeks with Kyler Murray, and then later in the year with Lamar Jackson. So get his feet wet. If he can contain those guys anywhere close what he did with Justin Fields, we're going to be happy.
Well, the good thing I liked out of this is I want you to hear this stat. There's 9 sacks. 6 people ended up with sacks this game. Myles Garrett had 4.5. Clowney had 2. AOK had half a sack. McKinley had half a sack. Harrison had a sack. And Malik Jackson had half a sack. So your whole defense pretty much got in there and just went crazy. But the entire game, if you watch the defensive lineup, Delpit, Harrison, John Johnson. Then you had Ward. He played his 3 safeties with Jock and Malcolm Smith. So that's pretty much the rotation that they had that entire time. And the one sack that JOK had, did you see the one where he just darted right in? He was supposed to be playing zone. Nobody came into his zone, and he took it upon himself to dart in there and get that sack. I mean, that kid was flying around everywhere. I can't wait. Our defense finally showed up and showed us what our defense should look like. And granted, yes, that offensive line is horrible. Granted, yes, that is a rookie quarterback, but they still had some playmakers in Allen Robinson. And guess what? Guess who guarded Allen Robinson half the time? Grant Delpit in the slot. Yeah. So Delpit was on him a lot in the slot. So it was. So, I mean, look at the weapons that we have. And Harrison getting in there for a sack. I mean, it was just everybody. I'm so proud of the defense and what they did. I mean, it was 1 yard passing, net passing. I think 45 yards rushing. That was it. That's what they had the entire game. And they only had what they have? I think it was 37 or 40 maybe plays that they did, while we had 80 some. I mean, we owned that entire game. So it was very, very nice to see for once. I mean, hats off. And I love watching that kind of defense. Yes, we didn't get any turnovers, but that was a great, great time.
And that's why that game is the perfect example why I've been such a huge component to strengthen the defensive line and to blitz a little more, because it makes the defensive backs, it makes the cornerbacks' job so much easier if they know they only have to cover the first route. So many times, like Tyreek Hill, these guys that are just so explosive, they beat you on these double routes. Well, if your quarterback doesn't have enough time to wait for these routes to develop, as soon as you see the receiver break, you can go and try to break it up yourself. And we saw that Ward had a couple tremendous breakups, because he knows if that guy's going to take a slant, all I have to do is guard against that. I don't have to worry about a double move. I can, because his quarterback only has time, 2 seconds before our guys are going to get him. So, like Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, I'll bring it up again. You probably can't name the cornerbacks for Tampa Bay, but the guys up front that gave Patrick Mahomes fits. And so if we can get a pass rush like that, there's no stopping us.
All right, go ahead, Vinny.
How do you get a half a sack?
So if 2 people are in on the sack, I understand. It's a weird thing, but if 2 people are there, they both tackle the quarterback, it's half for person, half for the other person.
I could have sworn, though, I remember you saying that 2 people had a half a sack, and then later on towards the end of your thing, somebody else had a half a sack.
Yeah.
So that makes 3 halves a sack. So who was the other half of the sack?
Garrett had 4.5.
He had 4.5.
Oh, he had 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just sitting there.
No.
Going through the stats, I'm going, wow, that just sounds kind of odd. I heard all the.
So Kevon has chimed in, Bri. He says he agrees, Bri, but the scheme for the Cardinals and the Ravens will bring let me bring it up because I'm trying to read. Kyler Lamar, more true test in defense because they're athletic, mobile core. Nagy did keep Fields in the pocket the entire time. He didn't try to move the pocket. He didn't try to do anything to help out Justin Fields. And you know something? That's a bad coach, especially when he comes out today and says all three quarterbacks are in play to start next week. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing there.
Well, the Bears are not fully committed to Justin Fields and running an offense that suits Justin Fields, whereas the Cardinals and the Ravens are. That's their guy. I mean, it'd be one thing if Justin Fields had an RG3 behind him and another mobile quarterback on the roster. Then they can fully commit to having a mobile quarterback. But you got the offense is suited to Andy Dalton. It's not suited to Justin Fields. I mean, they try to make things work, the week leading up to it. But yeah, so Justin Fields, you can make the argument that he was set up for failure. But yeah, he's a rookie quarterback making his first start. So it's going to be a tough road going against Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett for sure.
Well, here we go. 5-year-old could outcoach Nagy. No, I understand what you're saying, Bri. But what I'm saying is you drafted him where he was drafted at. You actually moved up to get him, all right, to get Justin Fields. You should already game plan. If you know Justin Fields is going to be your starter that week, you got to realize he's a rookie and he's athletic and mobile. You do not put him back in the pocket like that to get picked apart by, one of the best defensive players in the NFL and a revamped defensive line, especially knowing that. Like, they should have done so much. They even gave up on the run. Like, they didn't even try to run the ball. They just said, hey, kid, here you go. Have fun. Like, he just got thrown to the wolves.
And you know what? Not our problem. I mean, whatever mess Justin Fields and the Bears have to deal with, not our problem. If Justin Fields is a complete bust, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I mean, we dealt with that with Johnny Manziel. Everyone was blaming Johnny Manziel. I mean, the coaching staff had something to do with it. It's not one guy. It's not just the quarterback's fault. It's not just the head coach's fault. It's you have a bad head coach and you have a bad quarterback, and they accounted for 1 yard total passing. So, not my fault.
I get you, brother. Well, let's get into next week. We are playing against the old former team of Coach Kevin Stefanski. We're looking ahead to the Minnesota Vikings. They got Kirk Cousins. They got Justin Jefferson. They got Dalvin Cook. And who's the other wide receiver that I'm
Thielen. Adam
Thielen. They do have a potent offense. Our defense is actually going to get a chance to see how they do against a good offense. But is it Minnesota? Minnesota's what, 1-2 or 0-3?
1-2. No, they won last week against the Seahawks. I think they beat them by a couple scores, maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah, I hear it. Brian, are you setting off an alarm over there for Minnesota?
No, I think one of my neighbors is trying to break into my car or something.
That's when you poke your head out the window and go, hey, we're trying to do show over here.
I'll send the dog after him.
That a boy. All right, so what are you looking forward to for offense and defense next week against Minnesota, bud?
It's gonna. I mean, it goes without saying, but it's gonna be the Browns' second toughest test of the year. I think if you think we're just gonna roll into Minnesota and have no trouble at all with them because we fixed our defense and our offense is putting up 25, 30 points a game, I think you're dead wrong. I think Minnesota's a very good team. They can beat you.
I understand they can beat you. I'm just saying they're 1-2. I'm not saying they can't.
They're 1-2. They lost their first game in overtime against the Bengals. They lost their second game against the 3-0 Arizona Cardinals because our good buddy, what the heck's his first name? Joseph. Carl Joseph? No.
Greg Joseph.
Greg Joseph. Yeah, Greg Joseph missed a 37-yarder to give him the win. So
well,
they should have won that game.
He should have watched the Browns. Guess what? He missed it again. Like,
and so it's going to be a tough test. Dalvin Cook is going to be the best running back that we see if he's healthy. He missed last week's game, so I don't know if he's going to play or not. But if he does play, he's going to be the best running back we see possibly all year. And Jefferson, Thielen, they're probably top 10, top 5 receiving core. And Kirk Cousins, people like to bag on Kirk Cousins, but
He's
his
solid.
good games, you can put them up there with an Aaron Rodgers. I know he has some stinkers too, but if he's on, I don't think he's turned the ball over yet this year. He hasn't had an interception anyways,
He has not.
and he's been throwing a lot of touchdown passes. So it's going to be a challenge for the Browns going on the road. We're 0-1 so far on the road, and the easy games are over with. So, yeah, if we want to win this game, we're going to have to bring our. It helps me out a little bit that Minnesota won, so they're not totally desperate, being sitting at 0-3, but they're still a desperate team. 2-2 is a lot better than 1-3.
Yeah. What do you think defensive wise? I mean, just do what you did last week and just get after Kirk Cousins, or you got to shut down. You probably got to shut down Dalvin Cook. I mean, he's just he's lightning bolt. But I'm not as worried. The one thing I do worry about though is we forgot to say this. Gregory Newsome went out with a calf strain. He went on Twitter and said he's good, but I mean he's out, so that means Greedy's got to step up. But between Greg and Denzel Ward, they played great last game, and I hope that this was kind of like the, as we say in college, the MAC school or the Division II AA that you need to kick the shit out of before you get to the good ones, figure out your kinks. And I hope that's what it is. And I hope that now the defense has got a spur in their ass and they go do it. Offensive wise, I'm with you, but I think this plays a little bit easier for Chubb this week. I do, because I think they really did scheme for Chubb against the Bears did. And Kareem Hunt came out and gave him enough change of speed that they weren't expecting to see that much of Kareem Hunt the way he was played. But don't forget, like, our tight ends are legit too. And I have a feeling that the Njoku, Hooper, and Bryant are going to get a workout against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. It's the thing that concerns me offensively is, again, Jed Wills. We don't know how healthy he is. Conklin, I mean, the offensive line gave up 5 sacks last week, so that's a little bit of a concern. I know we went against Khalil Mack in all of his greatness, but Minnesota has a damn good pass rusher too, and Daniil Hunter. I think he's top 5 in sacks. So, and also, Mike Zimmer's a defensive guy, and I don't know how much credit you want to give him or how much equity you want to put into the fact that he coached alongside Kevin Stefanski and might know our offense a little bit more than other coaches around the league, but that scares me a little bit. I mean, I think teams for the rest of the year they're gonna scheme to stop Chubb because Chubb's the engine to our offense. So if they do that successfully, then you got to turn somewhere else, whether it be Odell or the tight ends or
Kareem Hunt.
Hunt. Yeah, I mean, so I feel confident in our offense, but yeah, it's not going to be that easy. I can see it being a shootout.
Okay, well, you want to get into our scores for this game?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Vinny, let's bring Vinny back in and the stream. There he is. All right, so we got our scores for this game, and I'm already going to throw out the first one right here. Justin Master said 32-27 Browns. Cousins is really underrated, and I totally agree too.
Agreed.
So who went first? I think I went first last time. Who's going first this time? Is it you, Brian?
Brian is.
Brian is.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go 30-27.
30-27. Brian.
Browns.
Just making sure.
Sorry.
No. All right, Vinny.
Fat guy, what do you got?
I am going to go. I think this is a lot lower score. I'm going to go 24 Browns, 17 for the Vikings.
Okay. Well, I think my choice is going to be kind of obvious.
24, 21,
No, actually,
27-24.
27, 24,
nope. It's going to be 30-17 for
37.
Cleveland.
Oh, he's picking yours.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh.
Oh,
So,
he's taking
a mixture of both. Hey, smart on you,
I had
Vinny.
to redirect that a little bit.
I
Try to
know.
make sure. I know
I
you
know.
wanted me to put my score down, but
Yeah, I know.
Take
That's
it to
all right.
Vegas, man.
a little smarter than the average bear here. Let's see how that works out.
Well, Vinny,
Nice.
I'm going to click the sounder for us to get in Fat Boy Tuesday because we got to make Fat Boy Tuesday quick.
Well, that's too bad. I already
I
got
know.
it.
We got all excited.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
So, our Fat Boy Tuesday is not sponsored. If you want to sponsor our Fat Boy Tuesday, get a hold of that fat guy on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. So, Fat Boy Tuesday, we are talking about go-to destinations for your game day experience. So, you got tailgates, you got home life, you got bars, you got friends and family. So, you get a pick on what you want to do. So, why don't we go with, since Vinny sat out the last one, he just piggybacked our damn scores. Let's go, my cousin Vinny, what you like to do when you watch the games. Where you like to go to watch the games?
Well, my number one place I like to go to watch the game, where I typically end up, is over at Mama's, and
That's because she has food. Let's
she's-
just be honest.
tons
You're not
of
go-
food.
you're not going for the game. You're just
Free
going for
food.
The food
I'm
too.
coming over.
No,
Hey,
it's a 1 o'clock
What he does,
game.
what he does is he shows up for the food. Halftime, zonks the hell out, unbuttons his top button, and let it loose a little bit. It's a little tight, and then it's like NASCAR with me. I watch the first 10 laps, pass out, wake up, watch the last 10 laps.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
So, all right, keep going. So, Maz,
Yeah, usually so it's either Maz or I'll head on over to Razzles. If I'm out shooting pool, it's wherever we end up shooting pool,
yes,
or really Mr. B's.
yeah,
for that.
I love Mr.
Yeah.
B's for Browns game. They got the projection screen. I'm with him. I'm piggybacking off of him. They got the projection screen. He's got them on all volumes up. Everybody, you can watch it no matter where you're at the bar. You have a view of the Browns game.
Absolutely.
No matter where you're at, you have a view of the Browns game.
So, does he have the Browns on every single channel, every single TV?
Every single
Oh, yeah.
TV. It is all
Okay.
Browns. As soon as the Browns game comes on, it is all Browns.
Mhm.
And then he plays through the jukebox, through all the speakers. He plays the commentary and everything. I piggyback off of too because Razzles has a halftime lunch buffet sometimes.
Oh yeah,
He'll bring out pizza or something for halftime
Yeah.
or wings.
pizza wings. Yeah,
First come, first serve. Plus, they always have drink specials going on for the Browns games. They have, and can't go wrong with the squares of the 50-50 raffle board that they got going on there too. But if you want to gamble a little
Absolutely.
bit, check that out.
Nice.
But my favorite thing to do is I'm like Vinny, home. You put me down in front, like what my ideal, and I've done it only a couple times due to night games because of the kids. Unless the kids are not here, I have Madden that I'm playing on one TV. I have the Browns game on another TV. I have beverages in front of me. I'm playing video games and watching football and just having them. And Doug Deacon and Jimmy Donovan in the background as I'm just
really?
yeah. That's
all in his boxers.
not. Hold on, they are briefs.
Sorry, that's
And-
even worse. I'd rather
And I
picture
have
you
to
in
wear a
boxers.
shirt now because the neighbors complain. So I have to put a shirt on.
I'd complain too.
I know. He's Justin actually come check out the place. So, Brian, what about you, brother?
So what you got? Jim Donovan, Doug Deaton playing in the background.
Yep.
Will you pause the TV just for a second to try to sync them up?
I have tried.
Because usually they're not synced up. That's kind of why I don't really do that.
They're not synced up, but the good thing is when I hear Jimmy make the call, I look down. And then the TV, because it's like almost like for me, the radio is ahead of the TV.
It is.
Right. Yep.
So what I do is I hear this, oh, there's the big play, and I look down and I pause them for a second, and I just watch the play, and then I bring it back on.
I got you. Okay.
So
Yeah. If
Same thing.
everybody, Justin, everybody has one naked neighbor. I love
Not
it.
as good as it sounds ever. It's always the people that shouldn't be naked that are the naked.
Especially when you're out there with your finger in your belly button. You're like, y'all moving in this house over here? Oh, that's a good house over there. Yeah.
I do see all the like shades are drawn and everything. So
Well, thank you. You're doing God's work there.
With the kids and everything, our house is now it's underwear. You have to have underwear on, but it is a pants optional household. All right. So just saying.
Let's move on real quick.
you want to stand up or me?
Vinny, is he wearing pants now? Never mind. I don't need to know that.
We are both wearing shorts.
No, I'm wearing shorts. Oh no, you're wearing shorts.
Yeah, I'm wearing
Okay.
shorts.
Go ahead, Brad.
Thanks for checking me out.
If I'm going to be at home, I got the setup now, and it just happens in the fall time where you got the main TV, and I got this little TV stand that I put like a second TV on, and I'll have the Browns game on the main TV, and I'll have the Red Zone channel on the small TV. And thankfully, my wife allows it to happen for 4 months in the fall, and because it works out for her, because on Thursday night games and Monday night games, she can watch whatever she wants to watch there, and I'll just turn the Thursday night, Monday night game on the side TV and no sound. I don't need any of that, and just watch it there. And so we make it work somehow, one way or another. That's what's saving the marriage right now for the next couple months. But usually, if it's a bigger game, I like to go out, or if I got nothing going on, I'll try to get a couple buddies to convince them to go out with me. And the two places that kind of stick out to me, I love watching the Browns, don't get me wrong, but I like to go to a bar where they have multiple games on. And one that I started out going to was the Wink and Lizard in Brunswick. And still, I say multiple games on, but there's about 40 or 50% of the TVs that are tuned into the Browns game. So you can still watch that. They still blast the sound out so you can listen to it too. But on commercial or an off play or something, you can turn your attention to a different game that might be close. So Wink and Lizard, Brunswick, and also the Hooley House. I think I've mentioned them before here.
Oh yeah.
Hooley House out in Fairlawn, up on Restaurant Hill. They have 4 giant TVs tuned in to all different games, and then they have just a ton of TVs all around the room. So yeah, if you're out and about, and if you're looking for a good spot to watch a couple different games at the 1 o'clock time slot, especially, yeah, check those out. Good food too. Good food, and they usually have some beer specials there. I mean, Wink and Lizard has like a 32 ounce for $4 or $5.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
All right, so guys, let's transition into our top 3. And by the way, Justin said you got to keep those top taxes down somehow. Touche, brother. Touche. All right, so let's get into our top 3. And let's quickly. Do you have the banner, Vinny? We're doing top 3 comedians. Okay. The reason why I brought this up, my sister was in. We watched a couple comedians. I laughed really hard. I cried. It's not running down the face, all that stuff. Like, it was good. So I wanted to hear all your guys' top 3 comedians, and I'll go first. My number 3, Ron White. Ron White.
Oh, nice.
Just smoking a cigar, sipping a drink, and just making me laugh. I love Ron White. My number 2, Eddie Murphy. I watched Eddie Murphy back in the day, and we're younger guys, so Richard Pryor, don't get that much. But my number 1, and Brian, you know my number 1, Bert Kreischer. Listen, a guy that comes out on stage, takes his shirt off, and talks about the stuff that he talks about that I want to talk about with my wife, and she won't let me. Yeah, good stuff. So let's go to Brian. Give me your top 3.
So you went all stand-up comics. Do they have to be stand-up comics?
Well, I thought that's why we said comedians, but no, you can do whatever you want.
Comedians, I mean, like my number 3 is Will Ferrell. I've never seen one Will
yeah.
Ferrell,
Okay.
one
That's
Will Ferrell stand up. So he just, I mean, growing up for me, he was putting out all the stupid comedies that you could just sit down and laugh at.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, I didn't have to give a whole lot of thought to SNL, Talladega Nights, yeah, Anchorman, Old School. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So he provided a lot of entertainment for me and my friends. My number 2 is a stand-up comic, and for me, probably the best stand-up comic. Just like you said, getting me laughing to the point where I'm crying, and just repeating those lines back and forth to friends for 5-10 years, probably still even to this day, is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle Show. Right in my wheelhouse growing up in high school and college, and loved it. And my number 1, you could probably guess it, Tommy Boy, Black Sheep,
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. Yeah, I was crushed. I was in the 7th grade when he passed away, and I was just crushed. But he'll be a legend in my mind for a while.
This here, One Blonde Girl, Letterman, George Carlin, and prime Adam Sandler. Can't go wrong with a goat.
No,
Goat.
Always solid.
All right, Vinny, give me your top 3 comedians.
Huge honorable mention to I don't know why I'm blanking on him now.
You better hurry up because
he's been gone. He's been gone for a little bit. Robin Williams.
Oh, Robin
he's
Williams,
one of my
yes.
favorite actors.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah,
sure.
And his comedy is always been right up there too. Another honorable mention, Jeff Dunham. You know, I like the puppets. You know, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
My number 3 though, Rodney Dangerfield. Best one-liners like
Caddyshack. God, I gotta love it.
Anywhere you go. My number 2, Dave Chappelle. Absolutely. The guy can say like anything, and it's still absolutely hilarious. Number 1, George Carlin.
Yeah.
So much wisdom imparted and still gone at such a very young age.
Andrew Dice Clay.
So I love George Carlin. I've loved everything he's ever done too, as far as comedy goes.
All right, so let's quickly get into the trivia answer, Bri, because we went past time, so we got to speed this up a little bit, bud.
Well,
so trivia.
Chase McLaughlin hit a 57-yarder. What's the Browns' record?
I'm going to go Phil Dawson, 61.
Phil Dawson was not correct. The record is 60 yards. A guy named Steve Cox hit a 60-yarder. He also hit a 58-yarder.
Oh, nice.
In the 80s.
In the 80s?
In the 80s. Our boy Dominic was telling me all about him. I lost a bet to him. So
Dominic used to kick field goals without a shoe on. So
he was giving me the rundown on Steve Cox, on how he was like our long-range field goal kicker in the 80s when Matt Barr was kicking. So 60 yards, Browns record 84. And the other one is Myles Garrett, number 3 on the all-time Browns sack list. Who's number 1?
Clay Matthews Jr.?
Technically, yes. Yep, that's correct. Clay Matthews technically has 62 sacks, which is an all-time leader. But they didn't start recording sacks as a stat until 1982.
Okay.
So he actually has 13 more than that. So he really has 75.
Nice.
But if you there are some nerds that went all the way back to like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And a guy named Bill Glass has 77 sacks in the 50s and 60s. Yeah.
Okay.
He has 16 in a season, which is the Browns record. So I don't know what you consider. If you Google it, it'll say Clay Matthews, but Bill Glass had 77. So
by the way,
shout out to those guys, Cleveland legends.
By the way, that was a pure guess. I was like,
no, that was a good guess. That's who I would have guessed too. But and 62, yeah. So technically the record is 62. Miles has 48. So
I was going like this.
about
Brandon
this time
Jones,
next year.
Phil Taylor. Oh my Lord.
I was
All right.
looking for somebody else that's currently on the Browns, and I couldn't see anybody. But I think Emmanuel Ogba was up there since 2000. I forget who else. Jabal Sheard, I think, might have been up there too.
All right. So let's get into my cousin Vay's word of the day. And it is obtuse.
Obtuse.
All right.
We've
So
all heard it before.
I know.
What is the definition?
So I remember geometry. That
Right.
there was a acute and obtuse triangle.
Very true.
And I'm going to go with wide.
Okay.
All right. Bri?
Yeah, you are correct with the angles, obtuse angle. I'm going with difficult though. Like if somebody's being obtuse, they're being difficult.
So where this word triggered for me real quickly was
You're going to go
from
quick, dude.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
When Andy went ahead and said,
Yeah, right.
how could you be so obtuse?
Mhm.
And the actual definition is to be difficult to understand
Attaboy,
or
Bri.
unable to understand what is obvious.
Well, guess what? I
So-
went math. You went actual right term. So
Nice.
But originally,
Point here.
I thought obtuse was maybe you were thinking of too many things.
yeah.
If you were acute thinking, you were thinking of like maybe one certain way, and obtuse would be too many ways that it could be other than that, but just difficult to understand.
All right.
I think my mind went there too. I just didn't make that connection to the Shawshank, but yeah,
Yep.
I kind of remember that. Can I say one last thing before you kick me out of here?
Yes,
And
sir.
It's just in case people are wondering, and I'm going to send something out later as far as fantasy football.
Yes. Quickly.
Because this is the last week before we cut it down by 2 people. So after this week, the bottom 2 will be cut off. They'll be sent to elimination, and then next week will be a 1-week elimination. So let me give the bottom 4 as we stand currently. Papa V's in last with 317 points. Second to last is Joe Bear, 321 points.
El Champion
our-
boy down
Our
at the bottom.
former champion. Yeah, former champion. So right now he would be sent to elimination. But yeah, he's second to last. Third,
I feel like I'm down.
you're coming up, Vinny. Let me get there.
All right.
Third to last, or third lowest score right now is Lauren, has
Oh.
328 points. And fourth, our man Vinny, 335.
I'm there.
It's all right.
335. So, I mean, there's still time. They're kind of bunched up at the bottom, but yeah, those 4 are kind of a little bit in trouble. They got to have a big week this week.
So before we sign off, are we going to do so when you set up the gauntlet, it's just those 2 playing together, the rest of us are going to have buys, right?
Well, no, so this week is the final week.
Yeah, where we have
After
a
this
bye.
week, the bottom 2 get dropped down.
Okay,
And then the lowest score. So in week 5, between the 12 of us that are left, the lowest score of those 12, they get sent to the elimination the following week.
Okay.
And then whoever wins the elimination will play them.
All right. Well,
But I'll send something out through our Facebook message with everybody's total score, just to give them a standing where they're at.
all right, perfect.
Awesome.
Well, Bri, God bless them.
Yep. God bless you. God bless America.
All right. Vinny, tell them good night.
Hey, have a good night, everybody. Happy birthday, cousin Paulie.
Oh, Paulie's birthday is too?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Happy birthday,
Yes.
cousin Paulie.
Happy birthday, cousin Paulie.
He hasn't chimed in yet.
I'm surprised.
I know. All right. I'm kicking you out, brother.
All
See
right.
ya.
See ya.
All right. I am that fat guy. We are Legal Ham to the Face. We talk all Cleveland and a lot of food. So thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate everything. We appreciate our troops and our first responders for what you guys do. I can't thank you guys enough. So on that note, we are definitely uncorked, unloaded, and we are out. And Vinny,
Yes.
say it.
Say what?
You know what? Do it now, or I'm going to end the broadcast.
Obtuse.